and
Oddworld.
Hey oddballs, I'm your host Jensen, and welcome to episode 119. Alright, we're getting right into it today, and you're going to learn about a mythical creature. So, here we go. It's lesson time. Today's mythical creature lesson is the Harpy. Fly high with the fierce and powerful Harpy from Greek and Roman mythology. These mythical creatures represent inspiration and feminine strength. It is time to embrace your emotions and make your voice heard. Don't shrink into the shadows. Let your intellect and passion shine. Embrace the storm of change, and you'll find beauty on the other side. Break free from the controlling situations and unleash your true self. As always, I want to know if this applies to your life. Let me know. And if you didn't listen to the previous episode, you're going to want to do that to listen to this one. So let's go ahead and get on into it.
This comes from elegant_ad_2603.
Update number 4. We have had some noticeable things happen that are kind of interesting. Starting this off, this particular update has more questionable stuff happen, as in the sense of, is it paranormal or coincidence? One night, my daughter and I were playing hide and seek. Now, she somewhat understands the concept, but she struggles on the concept of counting and then go seeking. So what I do is I wait until she turns around, away from me, and I run away and hide. Sometimes she just chases me, or if I get her distracted or if my wife distracts her, I'll get a good hiding spot. Once she realizes I'm gone, she goes around the house humming and squeaking. She doesn't speak, while looking for me. Well, one of those times I hid in the master closet. We have a decent sized walk-in closet, and I usually leave the lights off and hide in there. Well, I was waiting for my daughter to find me, and I hear a rustling of clothes that are hung up a few feet away. I turn around to see nothing and assume I may have bumped something, but then I hear it again. I stand in the dark, looking in its direction, but I see nothing. I finally start hearing my daughter's hum, and I hear what sounds like hangers sliding on the dowel. I look behind me again, and this time my alert is high. It's dark enough that I can't see anything other than what's in front of the door. At this point, my daughter finds me, and I turn on the light, but I see nothing there. A couple days later, my curiosity leads me to download a ghost hunting app. Now, I know from what I've read, a lot of them said it was gimmicky and fake. It seemed that the one called GhostTube was the least gimmicky, and when you download it, they claim it's legit. Is it real? I don't know. Anyway, I got 4 words. Stop recording. This one was said 3 times. Annoying psychic, how are you? Said twice. Not sure what that was supposed to be, other than maybe I'm annoying for recording. We are starting to notice things are getting moved. And yes, I have toddlers. And it's a given things will gain toddler feet and walk away. However, a few nights ago, the whole family was in the living room. I was holding my son, and my daughter was playing on her slide. In the kitchen, that is adjacent to the living room, was a pink ball that lit up when you bounce it. This ball suddenly lit up and started rocking. It did it for a solid 10 seconds at least. We all noticed it, even the kids. It was odd to say the least. This morning, A shampoo bottle that I know was on a high shelf so that my daughter can't reach it suddenly appeared in front of the master bedroom water closet. It was a little spooky. Update 5. It's been a while since I did an update. Things here have slowed down and how frequently things happen. However, when it does happen, it's more pronounced. The other night I was putting my 9-month-old son to sleep. We have a memory foam mattress topper on the ground. We found my son loves this thing and he will sleep the entire night on this thing versus wake up every couple hours in his crib. I was on the ground watching TV, giving my son a bottle. I had the bedroom door closed, and you could see the soft glow of the living room lamp under the door. I happened to hit a commercial in the program I was watching. Under the door, I could see 2 thin shadows that were shaped like pig legs standing outside the door. My first thought was that it was my wife checking on me. But suddenly I heard her voice sound like it was far away talking to my daughter. The shadow was there for a good 10 seconds and then vanished. The next was in the early morning as I was getting ready for work. It was about 6 a.m. and I was tying my shoes about to leave. I heard my keys drag on top of the counter and fall hard to the floor. That night, I knew I placed my keys in the center of the counter, like I usually do. And if I don't, my wife will. I could actually hear the keys as they dragged and dropped. Now, like the dumbass that I am, I sat there and continued to listen, thinking I'd see something. All it managed to do was wake my son and wife and get me blamed for being clumsy. Although, I know what I heard. The last part feels a little bit more threatening, as my wife and I both witnessed this. In 2 prior posts, I talked about a mass or figure that we have seen in my daughter's room. My daughter is autistic and nonverbal, so she can't tell me if she sees anything, but sometimes I catch her staring into space. I can't tell if it's her being a space cadet or if she sees something. However, she doesn't act scared. She usually just carries on with her hums and squeals. Anyways, my daughter was in bed, and my wife and I were in our room, in bed. We had our door open, and from bed, I can see into my daughter's room. Due to my last posts, we had bought a Wi-Fi bulb for her room, and we keep it at a barely on status to cast a nightlight type of glow. That night, my wife happened to look at her door, and she suddenly grabbed my hand. I look up at her, and she's staring at my daughter's room. I look, and I could see my daughter's door slowly close. I got up quickly and ran to her room and opened the door. There was nothing there, and my daughter was still asleep. I asked my wife what she saw, and she said she saw a black floating mass zoom across the door, and after it zipped by, the door started to close. My wife was visibly shaken. As of now, I'm using this Reddit to document what I've seen in this house. It kind of helps me digest what is happening. So as more happens, I'll post an update. Update 6. It's been a couple of months since I've done an update, so I figured why not. Now, since my last update, the usual stuff that I've said in past posts still happens. Stuff moves, and no one knows what happens. And we try to rationalize it was the kids or was something else. Usually the kids get the blame, unless it's something I know I made sure they can't reach. Toys will still randomly go off in the middle of the night. And we have made a joke that if the ghost wants to play with the toys, keep it down. We have accepted there is a possibility something is there. What it is, we haven't determined. Now for the new stuff. For my last posts, it seems like whatever is here, it was interested in my daughter. Most activity happened at night, and it was primarily focused on her room. My daughter is nonverbal, so it's not like I can ask her, "What do you see?" But sometimes I see her stare at something in the house, and I wonder. But the change seems that the focus is no longer on my daughter. It's changed to my wife. And where most things usually happen at night, between 10 and 3, it now can happen anytime. Now keep this in mind. I try to look at this as a skeptic. I don't want to be like Ghost Adventures and think that when some guy farts, it has to be a ghost. Don't hate me. I love that show, but sometimes shit seems exaggerated. One night, my wife and I were in bed, and I want to say it was about 12:30 at night. My daughter usually stays up to ridiculous times, and so after, my wife and I finally get to unwind. My wife usually goes to sleep, and I'll stay up and play games or watch a series. I've always been a night owl. This particular night, we were both watching a series, and I was looking at my phone, looking for info on something, and my wife looks at the door, and the door jerked a good 1.5 feet open. I didn't see it happen. It happened so fast. All I saw was the door was more open than the last time I looked at it. My wife said it was really fast. Easy to say she didn't sleep much that night. The second experience that shook her happened midday, and it happened in the same place where I've had a couple experiences, the master closet. One day, I came home from work, and my wife seemed a little nervous. She didn't come running to me or anything, but I knew something was off. So the usual pleasantries of welcoming me home happened, and she looked at me and she said she saw it again. I was confused what she meant. She told me she was hanging the clean laundry on hangers, when the whole time she said she felt an uneasy feeling, like she was being watched. She looked around and saw nothing and finished her task. She said she turned off the light, and what looked like a dark shadow person was standing in the back of the closet. She didn't see any features, just a silhouette, and it didn't move. She turned the light on because it scared her so badly, and it was gone. She turned the lights on and off to see if it came back, and it didn't reappear. I asked her if she was sure it's not her own paranoia, considering I've seen things happen in the same spot. She was confident on what she saw. So as I've said in the past, I use this to journal as new things or things change. So if things are always the same, until next time. I am loving the updates on this, honestly. This person's Reddit, by the way, is going to be linked below, and they have some crazy EVPs that you should all go check out and listen to. I'm just going to link their actual Reddit page, not each individual story, because I feel like that's easier so you can go and check out all of their posts. But this is wild to me. It legit is Poltergeist. They move the headstones, but not the bodies. And I am not an expert by any means when it comes to building. But also, I don't think they have a whole lot of basements in Texas like we do here in Missouri. I mean, I have family from Texas and they never had a basement, but I'm fairly certain that most homes in Texas don't have basements. So I don't really know how far they're digging to build homes, to move the dirt to make the area for the house. I don't think it's 6 feet though. So how many homes have bodies still buried under it? I mean, if I sound like a complete idiot, please somebody let me know. Let me know what is going on. Seriously, how many of these homes have bodies still buried under them? Gross. But on a lighter note, I love the fact that this person mentioned ghost adventures. Freaking hilarious, because my God, everything is always demonic with them, or Zach or Aaron are always possessed. Like, it's kind of honestly comical. There's probably some legitimacy in there somewhere with some of their finds, but I don't know. It's a don't take it too seriously, watch ghost adventures, like watch a ghost show type of thing. I don't know. They're paranormal investigators if you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a good one. It's pretty funny. And the fact that this person tries to debunk and doesn't believe that everything is paranormal and there's more than likely an explanation for everything is exactly how I am. And I think that's great, because to try to debunk things, but then also try to debunk and then you can't debunk, and then you're like, well, now wait a minute. That's just how I am. So I can appreciate that and understand that this person, when they see things and have updates, more than likely it's going to be paranormal because they've already tried to debunk it. So that's kind of good to know, it's not all just a bunch of bullshit. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave it here and I'll catch you in the next one for another update. But if you have a paranormal story like this one, let me know. Or just a paranormal story in general, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And well, it's an odd world after all. Oddballs, thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave 5 stars or thumbs up on whatever podcast platform you listen on. If you have any comments for this episode, comment below or head over to Instagram and comment on this episode's preview. To submit a story or for more information, go to itsanoddworldafterall.com.